Good afternoon. We're back with more Marvel Champions. And today we'll be testing out Gamora, starting with Drang on Expert difficulty from the Galaxy's Most Wanted expansion. So we're playing Aggression Gamora with some Justice thwarts thrown in. And we'll see how it goes. Get a hand. Using all of the Guardians allies that are available at the moment. And I like most of these cards actually. We'll just keep them. So for the Drang setup, we've got the Milano. Okay. So let's take a look at the top card of the deck, which is an attack or thwart event, so we can draw it. And we'll go ahead and use Power of Aggression to get out Hulk. We'll use Genius and I think Hall of Heroes to get out Groot. I don't know if Hall of Heroes will be that good in this scenario. I can't remember how many minions come out. We'll flip over to Hero phase. And we'll use Acrobatic Move to deal 2 damage. Remove 1 threat with Gamora's response. We'll use Groot for 2 damage, Hulk for 3. Hulk's discard is a wild card, so that's strength, so 2 more. And then Gamora attacks for 2, and the Milano. So we could actually push Drang into phase 2 right here if I'm willing to take an attack. I don't think I want to do that at the moment. So we'll just go and draw 4. Okay, so 2 threat, Drang will attack. We'll just face tank that. Attack is for 4, 5, 6. Ouch. And then 1 encounter card. We also have a charge up there. Blindside. Exhaust the Milano. Sure. And then we'll move on to the hero phase. Let's go. I do want Keen Instincts. And I do want Clear the Area. So we'll clear the area, draw a card, and that deals 1 damage. We'll use Groot to push Drang into phase 3. Discard the top 4. And put into play any minions. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the worst possible draw. Let's use, so after this engages you, you charge up. After this engages you, nothing since there's other minions. After this engages you, nothing. So we're going to have to do something about that. Let's go ahead and go Hulk to take out the Badoon Engineer. And Hulk's discard is strength, so we can use 2 damage to take out a grunt. Hulk has been carrying this one. Let's go Gamora to take out the grunt. And do I want to use toe-to-toe here? I don't think so. I'll play Bug. She should have played Bug before using Gamora. So use Bug to deal 1 damage. And then basic attack and heal Bug. And then I think we'll probably flip to Alter Ego here. Look at the top card of the deck. Okay, and then we'll draw 6. So we got 2 threat, we got a thwart for 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to advance the scheme. and deal 2 indirect damage. And then we have a scheme for 1 from the Grunt, or from the Warlord. And we have 1 encounter card. Do I have enough damage to just kill the boss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe 9? No, I don't. So let's see. When the villain schemes, I have cross counter, but it's a hero interrupt, so I can't use it. For the hero phase, we'll go ahead and heal Gamora. We'll flip. We'll go power on all of us. ×2 for Rocket. Rocket would be very good for taking out this Warlord. Let's do a damage with Bug. Then we can retire him when we bring Rocket in. Then let's deal 4 with Badoon Warlord. Rocket gets +3 when he attacks a minion. We'll use Groot to thwart for 1. We'll use Hulk to attack for 3. Discard is again Strength. We'll go Milano, and we'll use Keen Instincts to clear the area. Draw a card and deal a damage. Go Decisive Blow. We have played a thwart this turn, so we can deal 7 damage. And reduce threat by 1, and then we'll draw 4. 2 threat. Drang attacks. That will go on Groot. And so we have 1 charge up when the threat goes on Protect the Planet. That's 2 indirect damage. We'll go 1, 2. And then after Drang activates, he gets 1 more charge up. The attack will go on Groot. Should have had 1 more charge up as well when Drang schemed last round. And then an encounter card is Badoon Assassin. It's going to attack me with +2 attack, so that's 3 attack. We'll go cross counter. Reduce damage by 3. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. And that's going to proc both of Gamora's abilities here, so we'll remove 1 more threat and deal 1 more damage. And that's going to do it for this one. All we need is a single attack. So that went very well. Gamora did much better against this scenario than either Rocket or Groot or Star-Lord. So we'll move on to the next one, get the Collector Part 1 set up, and see how she does. Alrighty, we got the Collector set up. Once again, playing on Expert difficulty. And we'll see how Gamora does here. This is where Star-Lord flunked out when I was testing Star-Lord. So for the setup, we've got to put the top card into the collection. And we got to take 3 damage or put another card, and I'll take the 3 damage and we'll draw 6. These are decent cards. Gamora's Sword, I don't know that I'll have the resources to do it. It is very early though, so it might be good to get it out. So, what do we want to start with? Probably first we can take a look at the top card of the deck and see if it's an event. It is not. Can go... I may want to set up Clear the Area here. So I think I'm going to use Gamora's sword to get out Rocket. Along with strength, we get out Rocket Raccoon. And we'll thwart with Gamora. And then use set the pace to play clear the area. Remove 2, draw a card, and deal 1 damage to the collector with Gamora's response. And we'll play Angela. Look at the top cards of the encounter deck for a minion and put it into play. Top 10 cards. Hopefully something we can handle. Psionic Grunt. So it says put it into play. Put it into play engaged with you so you don't have to reveal it. And then we'll use Rocket Raccoon to take it out. Rocket gets 4 attack against minions. And we'll use Angela to deal 2 damage. Draw 4. And that Psionic Ghost, unfortunately, is going to go to the collection. So 1 threat, the collector will make an attack. We'll have Gamora tank that. No, we'll just face tank it and use a cross counter, most likely. So it's going to be for 3 damage. So we'll use Turn the Tide to play cross counter. That's going to be prevent 3 damage, remove 1 threat, deal 1 damage, and then we'd remove another threat and deal another damage for Gamora's ability. Then we got 1 encounter card. Shadows of the Past, that's a bad one. So we got Nebula coming in. Players other than Gamora cannot remove threat from sibling rivalry. After the villain phase begins, deal 1 face down encounter card to Gamora. And she got Retaliate 2. When this minion would enter play, discard the Nebula ally from play, which we don't have out. So onto the hero phase. We'll probably use Rocket and Angela to take out Nebula, or actually we may just use toe-to-toe. So let's use Clear the Area to play toe-to-toe. Have Nebula attack for 2 and deal 5 damage to her. And as it is an attack, there will be 2 retaliate. So it costs 4 damage to do that, but it takes out Nebula. And we can remove 1 threat thanks to playing an attack event. Then we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4 and clear sibling rivalry. And deal 2 damage with Angela. And fortunately, Nebula is going to go to the collection along with this sibling rivalry. So actually, yeah, I guess there's not much I can do about that. Don't have 2 resources that I can spend to remove a card from the collection. I'm just going to have to risk 4 cards staying there for now. But I will have to flip to Alter Ego because I can't have Rocket or Angela tank an attack or they'll go to the collection. And I'll lose. I could use Cross Counter, so we'll have to plan on using that. 1 threat, Collector will attack. We'll have Gamora exhaust just to make sure we don't take damage. Actually, I'm going to face tank it. It's risky. I'll face tank it. Okay, so we can just... Let's see, probably pay for it with toe-to-toe, cross counter, remove 1 threat, deal 1 damage, another damage for Gamora's ability. And we got an encounter card, which is Master Plan. There's the side scheme. And we're on to the player phase. So we'll exhaust Gamora. to clear one of these cards from the collection. We'll use Genius to get Nebula into play and search for an attack or thwart event, which is going to be clear the area, I think. And then we'll use Nebula to thwart. Actually, no, I better not grab clear the area. Well, is there... I don't think I'll be able to afford anything more expensive, though, is the problem. This won't go to the... This will go to the victory display, not the collection. But maybe I can't exhaust Gamora to get a card out of the collection. I'm going to have to spend 2 resources. Well, either way. Yeah, I think I can do it. So let's do it this way. We're not going to exhaust Gamora to get a card out of the collection. We're going to use Nebula. We're going to use Gamora to thwart. Then we're going to play clear the area. No, that doesn't leave me enough resources. I think I just have to leave 4 cards in the collection. It's really risky. I think the card was Turn the Tide. It's really risky, but we'll do it. So we'll clear the area. This goes to the victory display. I can heal 4 damage from my identity, which is really helpful. Draw a card. And we'll go ahead and use Acrobatic Move for 2 damage. And clear the area should have dealt a damage as well. So we'll draw 5. And 1 threat, we'll have Collector attack Gamora. And we'll exhaust to defend that. So it's going to be an attack for 4, so 2 damage. And then we got 1 encounter card coming, which is attached to the enemy with the highest scheme. He gets +1 boost icon. So we'll use 2 resources, power in all of us. I'm pretty sure you can use this to pay for collection removal. And we'll get Turn the Tide out of the collection. And then we can clear one of these allies out. It'll go to the collection, but we really need to clear space. So let's use Angela to attack, which will put the Collector into phase 3. No, I can't do that, because when he goes into phase 3, he sends a card to the collection. So we'll use Nebula to attack. And we put the top card of each deck into the collection, and then place 4 threat on the main quest. And then we'll have to wait before we can play any other allies. We can use Groot and Turn the Tide to play Forward Momentum, remove 3 threat. We haven't played an attack event this round. But we can remove 3 threat, deal 1 damage with Gamora's ability, and draw 4. Do I need to flip to Alter Ego here? I can't have any allies tank, so I may need to flip to Alter Ego. I think it's a little risky without a counter card to stay. And once I flip to Alter Ego, I'll check for an event. Actually, that would have been Power of Aggression, so shouldn't have been able to do that after drawing a hand. Okay. Moving on to the villain phase. 1 threat. And the Collector will scheme for 4, 5, and then +1 for the boost is 6. And then we got one encounter card. Philosopher's Stone. Okay, onto the hero phase. We'll use Gamora's ability now, so now I would be able to see the top card. We'll spend 2 resources to get a card from the collection. And then we can go ahead and flip. We'll use... Do I want to recover first? I think I need Gamora's action to thwart, though. I'll use Thor and Power of Aggression for forward momentum. Remove 3 threat. Deal 1 damage. I'll use Gamora to attack, and then I'll use one of my allies to tank the attack from the boss. So 1 threat, Collector attacks. The attack will go on, we'll clear out Nebula. Or actually I think we'll clear out Rocket. And so Rocket will go off to the collection. And then we've got 1 encounter card incoming, which is the Villain Schemes, and that's going to end this attempt. Well, wasn't really the deck's fault. I think it was this sibling, this Shadows of the Past, that did it. Filled up the collection too rapidly. So let's get it reset and we'll try again. Alrighty, attempt number 2 on the Collector on Expert difficulty. So we got 1 card going into the collection. These are mostly fine. I don't really need Conditioning Room. I don't think Hall of Heroes is going to come into play. Gamora's Sword is probably too expensive. We could try to get it out though with this hand. We'll keep this. So we'll take the 3 damage instead of putting an extra card in the collection. We'll use Gamora's ability to check the top card of the deck. It is not an attack or a thwart. We'll use Power of Aggression for Hall of Heroes. We'll use Gamora to thwart. And we'll use Conditioning Room for Clear the Area and draw a card, which will deal 1 damage to the boss. And I think we'll just keep this as it is and draw 2 cards. I may discard 1 power in all of this. Draw 3. Okay, so 1 threat, 1 attack from the Collector. Face tank it for 5, ouch. And then 1 encounter card, which is Star Shark, and it quick strikes, and that will end this attempt. If I had tanked the attack, I would have plus 2 HP and I'd survive with 1, but anyway, I have to get reset. Okay, here we go, attempt number 3. I maybe should have mulliganed my entire hand last time, I'm not really sure. I really want Decisive Blow, but actually maybe I do. Maybe I do want that damage with this hand. So let's go ahead and get Angela. I'm not sure Angela is good in this scenario though, because she definitely adds another card to the collection. You don't want minions coming into play. I'll probably spend her on something else. We'll check for an event. That is not an event. We'll flip. We'll go Genius for Nebula, and we'll go grab and probably a thwart event, because I want to be able to play Decisive Blow. So we'll grab Set the Pace. We'll use Nebula to thwart for 2. Actually, I'm just gonna... Let's do this differently. Let's use... Don't think I can't use Turn the Tide and Clear the Area. Well, after your hero thwarts and removes all threat, this is a hero thwart, right? So I can use Turn the Tide after Clear the Area. just can't be an ally that does it. So we'll use Nebula to thwart for 2, and then we'll use Angela to play clear the area, thwart for 2, draw a card, and deal a damage thanks to Gamora's response. Then we'll play Turn the Tide off of that for 3 damage. And I think I'll go ahead and just stand on this hand. I'm not going to play Turn the Tide. I'm going to use Turn the Tide and set the pace to play Decisive Blow for 7 damage. And then I'm just going to use Gamora for 2 more damage and then draw 4. The Collector has relatively weak HP, so rushing him down is good. And I didn't want to get rid of Drax because he represents 9 damage. So 1 threat. Collector will attack. Do I want to put that attack on Nebula? Yeah, she's going to go to the collection, but I don't want to face tank it. If there are 3 or fewer cards in the collection, put the top card of your deck face up into the collection. Ouch. Adds a card. Nebula goes off to the collection. And then we have an encounter card, which is Unfulfilled Destiny. So we'll exhaust the alter ego, remove this from the game. And we're on to the hero phase. We'll take a look at the top card. It is an attack or thwart event, so we can draw it. And we'll flip back to hero form. We'll use Forward Momentum to get out Keen Instincts, and then these 3 to play Drax. And we'll use Drax for 3 damage. Means I don't take anything out of the collection, though. I'll risk it. So 1 threat, 1 attack from the Collector. We'll have Gamora tank. Attack is for 3. After this activation ends, reveal this card. When Collector would take any amount of damage, put this card face up into the collection, prevent all that damage, then place threat on the main scheme equal to the amount of damage prevented. That is terrible. So in the hero phase, now that was just his attack. We still need an encounter card, which is Servant Bot. That's also terrible. So in the hero phase, we'll use Power in All of Us to get Nebula out of the collection. We'll use Set the Pace to play Clear the Area. Deal 1 damage to the Collector, which will proc the Biogram image. And we'll draw a card with Clear the Area. Drax cannot attack minions. So actually I think I needed to use Clear the Area to deal 1 damage to the bot. Then I can use Acrobatic Move to take out the Servant Bot. And I can use Drax's attack to deal with the Biogram image. It's not great, but that's the best I can do, I think. Draw 3. So 1 threat, 1 attack from the Collector. We'll have to have Gamora tank that. It's going to be for 4, so 2 damage, and then 1 encounter card. The villain in each minion engaged with you attacks you. Well, I can't have Drax tank it. I have to have Gamora tank it. I'll just have to hope for the best. 4 damage, that does kill the Gamora. And we'll have to try again. This is about the point that I gave up with Star-Lord. In this case, though, I don't think this is a challenge beyond Gamora. I think I just haven't been running very well in terms of luck. This is a tough boss. Do I want to keep all of this? None of this? I think I want to keep most of it. Maybe not Hall of Heroes. I don't think it's very good in this scenario. So we'll take the 3 damage instead of putting another card in the collection. We'll use Gamora to look at the top card. It is an attack, so we can grab it. We'll flip over. We'll use toe-to-toe to play Keen Instincts. We'll use Gamora to thwart for 2. We'll use Brawn to clear the area, draw a card, and deal 1 damage. We'll use Turn the Tide and Rocket for Decisive Blow and deal 7 damage. Actually, we'll keep Turn the Tide. And we'll use Keen Instincts. Then we'll draw 3. So 1 threat, Collector will attack, which Gamora will tank. If there are 3 or fewer cards in the collection, put the top card in. That's brutal. But no damage. And then we got an encounter card, which is Caught Off Guard, discard an upgrade or support. Okay. So for the hero phase, let's go. Gonna discard 2 resources to get a card from the collection. And then I think I'm just going to play Hulk here. I do want to save cross counter though. I'll hold off on Hulk. We'll just slow play it a little bit. Draw 2. 1 threat, Collector attacks, Gamora tanks. 1 damage and then 1 encounter card. Servant Bot, that's terrible. So let's go Bug and Drax for Hulk. Let's use Hulk to take out the bot. And then we'll see what Hulk's card is. Unfortunately, Hulk discards himself. And then we'll draw 3. So 1 threat, Collector attacks. I'm just going to face tank it because I want to use cross counter. Another collection card, ouch. And we'll use probably Power on All of Us to play cross counter. So no damage, we remove 1 threat, we attack for 1, then we use Gamora's abilities, her responses to remove 1 threat, and attack for 1. And then we got an encounter card coming, which is the villain attacks you. We'll exhaust to defend, and the attack does 1 damage. For the hero phase, we'll use Power on All of Us to get out Keen Instincts. That's about all we can do. Actually, I don't think I can do that. I'll use Power on All of Us to get a card from the collection. And then I'll use Turn the Tide to play Keen Instincts, and then I'll draw 5. So 1 threat, 1 attack, 1 exhaust from Gamora. 2 damage. 1 encounter card. Stay a while. Collector attacks you with +1 attack. If you take any amount of damage, put the top card of your deck face up into the collection. This is just going to end the game, actually. And oh no, 2 damage. But I do lose a card to the collection. So I got lucky there with the boost card, and I survive. Let's go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Thor. Gamora's Sword for clear the area. 2 threat, draw a card. 1 damage. Thor deals 2 damage to the villain. Did I use any strength resources? I did, so it's actually 3 damage. That'll put him into phase 3. Top card into the collection. 4 threat. And we'll use Thor to deal 2 damage. And we'll flip to Alter Ego. Take a look at the top card. It is not aggression or thwart, so then we'll draw 4. Actually 5 now. So 1 threat, 1 scheme by the collector for 5, and that's going to end the game. Ugh, this scenario is so brutal. Let's try again. Despite what it looks like, I do think Gamora is stronger than Star-Lord, even though Star-Lord struggled and Gamora is struggling. But we're just getting these inconspicuous boxes. Like, last game there was 2 of them. It's brutal. And then before that we had Shadows of the Past, so I think we're just running bad, really. Okay, here we go. Check to see if the top card is something we can use. It is. We'll go 1, 2, 3 to play Gamora's sword. And we'll go 1, 2 for decisive blow, deal 4 damage. Remove 1 threat for Gamora's ability. And we used an attack event, so we can deal 1 damage for Gamora's sword. We can deal 2 damage with Gamora, and then we'll draw 4. So I forgot about the collection card, and then also 3 damage. So 1 threat, 1 attack from the collector. We'll just face tank because we've got cross counter. Ooh, 5. So we'll use Hall of Heroes to play cross counter. So we still take 2 damage. And then we can also deal 1 damage, remove 1 threat, then deal 1 damage and remove 1 threat for Gamora. And it's also an attack, so we can use Gamora's sword as well. And then we got 1 encounter card coming, which is Caught Off Guard. Unfortunately, there goes Gamora's sword. On to the hero phase. We'll use toe-to-toe to play Clear the Area. 1 damage for Gamora's response. Draw a card. We'll use Acrobatic Move to deal 2 damage. And we'll exhaust Gamora to clear the area. And we'll go ahead and draw 4. 1 threat, collector will attack, Gamora will exhaust. 1 damage and then 1 encounter card. So we're in much better shape this time because there's nothing in the collection. So, in the hero phase, we'll use Thor to clear the area. That draws a card that deals 1 damage to the collector. So we'll push him into phase 3. Actually, this has guard on it, so we can't do that. We'll have to deal the damage to the servant pot. We'll use Turn the Tide after that to deal 3 damage to the bot. And we'll use Acrobatic Move to push the collector into phase 2. Do I want to play Angela here? It'll add a card to the collection with the minion that comes out. Well, I think I won't. I also think I'm going to flip to Alter Ego. Check the top card. And then we'll just go ahead and draw 4. So 1 threat, 1 scheme by the collector. So I should have added 1 threat to the scheme when I should have placed a card in the collection. I didn't do that, right? No, I didn't do that. So 1 card to the collection, and then 1 threat on the scheme. And then the collector's going to scheme for 4. Psionic Ghost comes into play. And then we're on to the encounter card, which is Philosopher's Stone. Okay. Well, I think we'll have to heal with Gamora. Can go Power in All of Us, Conditioning Room to play Groot. Two damage. Flip to hero form. We'll use Set the Pace to remove 1 threat and deal 1 damage. I'm debating Angela, but I think I don't do that. I really need to draw the counter card. Alright, one threat, one attack from the collector will have Gamora tank. The attack is for 4, so 2 damage, and then 2 from the Psionic Ghost, and then 1 encounter card. Actually, it's +1 boost, so 1 additional. And then the villain schemes, and that's going to end this attempt. Okay, well. There's one other test I'd like to do with Gamora, and that is Rhino on Heroic 2. Right now it looks like Gamora's defense is what's hurting her. Doctor Strange was the hero I used to beat this in my original playthrough, and he was able to control the collector attacks with stun and or confuse from his bands of Criteract images of Icon. One of the things I talked about as a weakness of Gamora in my card review is that she can't stun or confuse, and against the collector we're running into problems because she can't stun or confuse, and she can't use allies to tank attacks as much because they go to the collection and then the cards build up in the collection too fast. And so when we don't have where is it? Where is that card? Counter. When we don't have cross counter to help with defense, we're just getting our health whittled down. Then we have to flip to alter ego. Then we have to heal and take a bunch of threat. And when you have to heal, then you don't have the hero available to thwart, and then we need to play allies to thwart if we have them. And then we have to send the allies to the collection after they die. I think that's why Gamora is struggling here against the collector, because we're doing fine until the health gets whittled down, then we go to alter ego, then we lose. If the collection hasn't become a problem by that point already. So what's hurting her is an inability to control the collector attacks without using allies, because she doesn't have any crowd control built in. Nonetheless, I do think that there are scenarios where she does very well. This is a kind of niche scenario. But I want to try her against Rhino 2, so let's get that set up. Rhino Heroic 2. Okay, we've got Rhino Heroic 2 set up, so we'll try out Gamora against this. That's decent, except for Gamora's sword, which isn't really going to get played. Do I throw it away? Probably. Okay, here we go. So let's use Gamora to check for an event. Nothing. Let's use double power of aggression to play Thor and deal 3 damage to the boss, thanks to the wild card there. Let's go ahead and flip. I think we need to use Gamora and Thor to take care of Breaking and Taken. Then we can use Turn the Tide to deal 3 damage. And then we'll discard Hall of Heroes and we'll draw 4. Thor takes 1 damage from that. So 1 threat, 1 attack from Rhino. We'll face tank it since we got cross counter. Just for 3, so we'll use toe-to-toe, I think, to deal with that. And we prevent 3 damage, we deal 1 damage, we remove 1 threat, and then we deal 1 damage. And then we got 3 encounter cards coming. Armor for Rhino. Toughness. Healing. Okay. We'll go Rocket Raccoon. We'll get rid of the toughness using Rocket. And we'll use Thor for damage, Gamora for damage, and we'll draw 5. So one threat will face tank the attack for 5. 3 encounter cards. That's 2 more encounter cards. Alter ego form. That's 1 more encounter card. That's a surge. That's 1 threat on the main scheme. That's discard an upgrade or support. Nothing to discard, so it surges. That's 4 healing. That's a minion. Okay. For the hero phase, we'll check the top card. We can draw it. Let's use Conditioning Room to play toe-to-toe after we flip. We'll take 2 damage from, or take 1 damage from this ally and then deal 5 to it. Removes 1 threat for Gamora's response. Oh, I haven't been playing once per phase, have I? This makes her worse than I thought. I probably would have done worse earlier if I'd been playing once per phase. Acrobatic move takes out the Hydra Bomber and removes 1 threat. So that's all the threat and damage we can do with Gamora. We'll go ahead and... Actually, I don't know that I wanted to do that. Let's not do that. Let's instead use Rocket to deal 4 damage with Overflow. Let's use Thor to deal 2. Let's use Acrobatic Move for 2. Let's use Acrobatic Move again for 2. Let's draw 3. So 1, let's go Rhino attacks. 3 encounter cards. And the villain schemes for 2. Well, set the pace, removes a threat, deals 1 damage for Gamora. Remove the confuse. Use clear the area, play clear the area. Draw a card. I think we'll go Hulk. Hulk's card is strength. That's what I was hoping for. Then we can draw 5. So we'll face tank with cross counter. It's for 4, so I take 1 damage. And then 1 more damage for Gamora. And then 3 encounter cards. Rhino attacks you. That will go on Thor. Villain attacks you. Well, I'll have Gamora tank it and hope for the best. It's 5 damage. Nope, that ends the scenario. Okay, well, overall, as with Star-Lord, I would say Gamora is weaker than I thought. So I would put both Gamora and Star-Lord in like the B+ tier, along with probably Iron Man. I think Gamora and Star-Lord are roughly equivalent to each other. I don't think they get to Black Widow's level. I don't think that they get to Scarlet Witch's level. Black Widow's a hero I'd like to try again with the updated Justice card pool. I think Justice works really well with her. But overall, what's hurting Gamora is her lack of crowd control, lack of stun, or confuse. Her damage is decent, but it's the lack of crowd control that's causing her problems due to having to tank attacks or use allies to defend before we've gotten full value out of those allies. Certainly not a weak hero, and probably better than Rocket Raccoon, but a little weaker than I thought she would be. Due to lack of CC, I think. So, thank you for watching.